The description of the potential kidnapper given to a police sketch artist by Robin's friend looked remarkably similar to a known child molester.
This was a big deal media-wise because we had a missing 12-year-old girl, and Alcala's parole officer saw the composite on TV, and he called detectives and said, "You guys need to check out Rodney Alcala. It looks like him. It sounds like him. You got to look at Rodney Alcala." And like 15 minutes after they received that phone call, one of the cops is home, turns on the TV, and sees Alcala on the dating game.
Bachelor number one is a successful photographer. Please welcome Rodney Alcala. Rod, welcome.
And the host introduced the bachelors, and bachelor number one was Rodney Alcala. The detective frantically tried to call the police department and let other detectives know that he was on television so that they could turn it on and see him.
Alcala's appearance on the program, where women pick eligible bachelors without seeing their faces, was recorded 10 months earlier in September 1978. On the show that day with Alcala was actor Jed Mills.
The vibes I got from him while we were doing the show and backstage and even during the actual filming were not good vibes. There was something wrong with this guy.
Jed had met Alcala backstage before the recording.
Didn't talk much. We were guys, and he was this rather good-looking, creepy-looking guy, though. He had the weirdest football haircut. Everything was like perfect. The other guy and I were getting along very nicely, and we were talking about this and that, and every now and then this creepy guy would say something, like he had an attitude, because he knew better than everybody else.
When the cameras began rolling, Alcala turned on the charm.
I'm called the Banana, and I look really good.
Can you be a little more descriptive?
Peel me.
On the dating game show, the woman questioner asks each of the eligible bachelors, I'm going to eat you. What food are you? So Alcala, when he gave his answer, says, "Well, I'm a banana. Unpeel me."
And I said, "Oh my God, this guy's such a creep."
But it was enough to win him the date.
Well, I like bananas, so I'll take one.
Number one, bachelor number one, all right.
On the outside, Alcala appeared to be a charming, good-looking man. But deep inside, he was hiding a dark history. What the viewing public didn't know was that contestant number one was a serial killer. By the time he appeared on the show in September 1978, Alcala had already killed 5 women. Over 35 years on, Jed Mills still feels anger towards his fellow contestant.
Thinking back on it, it was very spooky, that I was in a room with this guy. Had I known, I'd have killed him right there. My bare hands, that he's killing women. Horrible, just horrible.
Prior to his national TV appearance, Alcala had already murdered 23-year-old Cornelia Criley in June 1971 in New York. And then in July 1977, he killed another young woman in the city, 23-year-old Ellen Hover. Over the following 12 months, he struck again, this time in Southern California. Among his innocent victims, 18-year-old Jill Barkham, 27-year-old Georgia Wickstead, and 32-year-old Charlotte Lamb. All were murdered by the 34-year-old who was now hiding in plain sight.
Most serial killers, or killers in general, want to avoid detection, want to avoid publicity, want to avoid the spotlight, and this guy was actually seeking it out, which is, an indication of his personality.
He really does love being in the limelight, so I think he would have really enjoyed appearing on that dating show in the 1970s.